In this video, we will discuss adding contours to a surface. If you'd like to follow along with this video, please open the file 0506 Adding Contours to a Surface.dwg located in the training folder as discussed in the Working with this Dataset video. Civil3d has the ability to use contour data to create a surface. Contour data can come from a variety of sources, for instance, USGS, Aerial, etc. In our example, we had one side of the lake surveyed by another company, and they gave us contour data to add to a surface. Before we proceed, let's go ahead and isolate those layers so we can add them to a new surface, which we will eventually paste into our topo surface in a future video. In the Home tab, Layers panel, let's go ahead and use the Isolate Layers command, and they gave us the contour data on one layer. We'll select that layer, press Enter, and there's our contours. So, as I mentioned before, we'll create a brand new surface that we'll eventually paste in with our existing ground. So right-click on the Surfaces collection and choose Create Surface. And we'll call this one Surveyed Lake. We'll keep the description, we'll keep the style the same, and click OK. Now that we have our surface, we can expand the surface, go into its definition, and as we did with the break lines, simply right-click on Contours and select Add from the shortcut menu. We'll give this one a description as well. It's always a good idea to add a description along with the date that the survey was imported. So we have two options here. We have weeding factors and supplementing factors. So you can use weeding factors to reduce the number of points that will be generated along a contour, as contour data sometimes contains more vertices than is really necessary. The supplementing factor section will add vertices along a contour if you do not have enough vertices. Note, the weeding factor distance must be less than the supplementing factors for this to work properly. The Minimize Flat Areas section helps find and eliminate triangles where 3 points are at the same elevation and the edges that connect the points on different data contours are at the same elevation. This will reduce the number of flat areas and create a more realistic surface. I'll stick with the defaults and click OK. Now I need to select my contours, so I will make a crossing window like so. However, do not forget to unselect this border. This is simply a border object that is at elevation 0. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key on the keyboard, standard AutoCAD functionality, and unselect that border object. I'll press Enter, and now I have my contours. I simply need to unisolate my layers, and there is my surface. Again, as with everything in Civil3d, it's very dynamic, so if anything should be wrong with the contours, or you need to adjust any of these contours, you can simply select it, and by using the grips, again you'll get the notification that tells you it's out of date. You can simply right-click on the surface and choose Rebuild. And just like that, you have your contour surface and your edits. This concludes this video discussing adding contours to a surface.